Chapter 1, Mishnah 5. To this point, the Mishnah has listed the stages of development at which different kinds of produce first become subject to the laws of Maasros. However, even at that stage, a person is permitted to snack from the produce without having to tithe it first. It is only if he wants to eat it in a regular way that he must separate the Maasros. The stage at which produce becomes forbidden, even for snacking, is when it has been picked and has been completely processed, so that it is now ready to be removed from the field. The next several Mishnahs teach when various kinds of produce are considered to be completely processed. We now turn to the words of the Mishnah. What is the goren, finished condition, for these kinds of produce in regard to Maasros? That is, when are they considered completely processed and therefore prohibited, even for snacking, before they have been tithed? Cucumbers and gourds are finished once he removes the hairy covering that surrounds them. But if he does not plan to remove the hairy covering, then they are finished once he makes them into a pile. A melon is finished once he removes the hairy covering that surrounds it. And if he does not plan to remove the hairy covering, the melon is not finished until he makes a mukse for the melons in an area in which all the melons are laid out after they are picked. Vegetables that are usually tied in bundles are finished once he ties them in bundles. And if he does not plan to tie them in bundles, they are not finished until he fills the container in which he collects them. And if he does not plan to fill just that one container but intends to fill several, they are not finished until he gathers all the vegetables he needs and puts them into containers. He may continue to snack from the vegetables in the first containers until the last one has been filled. If he puts the vegetables in a large basket instead of a small container, they are not finished until he covers them with leaves. And if he does not plan to cover them, they can be eaten as a snack only until he fills the container. And if he does not plan to fill just that one container but several, they are not finished until he gathers all the vegetables he needs and puts them in containers. He may continue snacking from the first ones until the last one has been filled. Having taught when each of these kinds of produce is considered finished, completely processed, the Mishnah now teaches when this factor alone is enough to prohibit snacking. In what case are these things said? When do we say that it is prohibited to snack on produce that has reached the stages of completion described above? When he is taking the produce from the field to sell in the market. However, if he is taking the produce to his house to use for himself, he may eat from it as a snack until he reaches his house.